What happens when a child becomes an emotional support for a parent? Where's the line between a healthy bond and emotional entanglement? Today, we're delving into the Oedipal Victor phenomenon, where a child finds themselves in the role of a parent's emotional support and why that can do more harm than good. Freud's concept of the Oedipal complex draws from the myth of Oedipus, the prince who killed his father and married his mother. Freud used the story to describe the children's early feelings of love and jealousy towards their parents. While this may seem extreme, modern psychology interprets it as a way to understand common emotion dynamics in family relationships. In early years, an infant is only aware of a two-person relationship, that is between himself and one caregiver, traditionally the mom. He is blissfully unaware that the mom has relationships outside of himself. Around the ages of 3 to 6, children start realizing that their caregivers have relationships that don't revolve solely around them. This awareness can spark intense emotions. A young boy, for example, might feel possessive of his mother's affection while viewing his father as a rival. He may try to win his mother's affection with a fantasy of having exclusive attention. At the same time, he still fears, loves, and depends on his father, which leads to conflicting emotions involving love, jealousy, and fear. In this way, Oedipal complex serves as a child's first encounter with the messiness of human emotions and relationships. In loving and supportive families, children gradually work through these complicated feelings with their parents. They learn that their caregivers' bonds doesn't threaten their own relationships with either parent. Over time, children begin to see each parent as a separate individual with unique roles and qualities. For example, a boy might start to admire his father, recognizing him not as a rival, but also as a role model. Simultaneously, he realizes that his mother's love isn't diminished by her connection to his father. This shift is crucial for developing emotional boundaries. The child, who once saw the caregiver relationship as revolving solely around him, now understands that his parents have their own relationships, needs, and desires. This recognition helps the child develop a more balanced perspective on love, security, and independence, fostering self-confidence and a strong sense of individuality. Problems arise when a parent, consciously or not, engages the child to take on an adult-like role. In such scenarios, the child becomes the parent's emotional partner, rather than another parent or adult fulfilling that role. In psychoanalytic terms, this sometimes gets labeled as a child becoming an Oedipal Victor. While this may sound like the child quote-unquote wins the parent's exclusive attention, this actually signals a breakdown of healthy boundaries. The child starts meeting the parent's emotional needs at the expense of their own, sacrificing the guidance and care essential for his development. Modern psychologists often refer to this situation as enmeshment. To better understand this concept, imagine a family where the mother, Linda, feels disappointed and resentful towards the father, James. She perceives him as emotionally distant, so instead of addressing these concerns with him directly, she forms an overly close alliance with her son, Adam. Linda might say things like, "Your father never helps around the house. It's so nice to have you." Or, "Your father just doesn't understand me like you do." While these comments may seem minor, over time, they create a dynamic where Adam feels responsible for Linda's happiness. Linda also discourages Adam from spending quality time with James in indirect ways. If James invites Adam to go fishing or play sports, Linda might respond by saying, "You don't have to go if you don't want to," or by subtly expressing disapproval, such as, "I was hoping you stayed home and helped me today." These actions signal to Adam that choosing to spend time with his dad is less valued or even disloyal. Over time, Adam begins to feel overly responsible for his mother's emotions. In return, Linda also begins to feel Adam's feelings as her own. In the atmosphere of codependency, Linda becomes overly protective. She shields Adam from challenges and responsibilities, preventing them from developing autonomy and resilience. This pattern further leads to what psychologists call enmeshment. The boundaries between Linda and Adam become blurred. Adam becomes protective of his mother's feelings and anxious about asserting his own needs. In essence, he has quote-unquote won the role of Linda's closest ally as an Oedipal Victor. but at a serious cost to his own development and independence. It is crucial to recognize that the enmeshment between Linda, James, and Adam did not arise from the actions of one individual, but from the interplay of their roles within the family system. First, we need James' emotional unavailability, and second, we need Linda's unfulfilled intimacy and resentment, which together brews a hostile marriage. Rather than blaming any family member, it's important to view this dynamic as a reflection of deeper dysfunction within the family as a whole. When a child is placed in a pseudo-adult role too early, they often struggle with autonomy and self-confidence later in life. As an adult, Adam is frequently torn between pursuing his own dreams and trying to keep his mother content. He struggles with difficulty forming healthy romantic relationships, unconsciously repeating patterns of dependency or guilt learned in childhood. For example, Adam struggles to communicate his needs to a partner because he fears that expressing his own desires will make him feel guilty or selfish, feelings he experienced as a child when prioritizing his own needs over his mother's. As a result, he gravitates towards partners who expect him to take on a caretaking role, repeating the same patterns of enmeshment he experienced in childhood. Furthermore, Adam's skewed perception of his father prevents him from developing a balanced understanding of how a father or any authority figure can be both reliable and firm. Consequently, he struggles with authority at work or in social settings, unsure of how to establish boundaries or resolve conflicts. Without a fuller understanding of his father's role and a healthier model of authority, Adam is left without a key foundation for navigating adult relationships and responsibilities. As an adult survivor of enmeshment, the journey of healing involves reclaiming autonomy and establishing boundaries. First, reclaiming autonomy. Growing up enmeshed often leaves individuals struggling with guilt when prioritizing their own needs or navigating relationships, as they unconsciously repeat patterns of caretaking and dependence learned in childhood. Recognizing and naming these patterns is the first step towards reclaiming autonomy. Get to know yourself. Start small with things such as what food, music, or fashion you like. Then, expand slowly to include relationships. Instead of asking, does the other person like me? Ask yourself, do you feel nourished, enlivened by the other person? As you go through the process, you will learn to trust yourself. Second, establishing boundaries. Learning to assert personal needs without guilt is crucial for breaking down the emotional responsibilities imposed in childhood. Therapy and support groups can provide a safe space to explore these dynamics and practice setting boundaries. Focusing on self-compassion is essential. Understanding that prioritizing one's well-being is not selfish, but a necessary step for growth. By embracing individuality and fostering balanced, mutual relationships, adult survivors of enmeshment can work towards building a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. In summary, viewing the Oedipal complex metaphorically offers insight into a child's developmental journey towards understanding the complexity of human emotions and relationships. Additionally, the concept highlights the crucial role of family dynamic in fostering healthy emotional development. Children thrive in environments with strong emotional boundaries, where parents address their own emotional needs without relying on their child. When a child ends up as the main emotional support for a parent, it can hinder their ability to form identity and can create lasting challenges in adulthood. In other words, the Oedipal complex and Oedipal Victor serve as reminders that parent-child bond, like sunlight, can nurture growth, but when enmeshed, can suffocate development, like tangled vines. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think about the concept of Oedipal complex? Does it ever apply to you? If so, leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. If you found this topic helpful, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to see more topics in our future videos. As always, have a great day and we'll catch you in the next video.